Most of my permissions are normally near to where I live, which is basically in the Andredswold. That was a 100-mile wide forest that covers Sussex and Kent. And I've basically driven east today to East Kent, up onto the chalk, where there's a bigger footfall for Saxon and Roman activity. The reason for that is, I believe, or this would be my hunch, that the communities in the forest were interdependent upon the communities on the chalk, and that applies probably both to the Roman and the Saxon periods. But there's a complete scarcity of early Saxon activity in the Weald, so it's basically called the Weald today, but was formerly the Andredswold. Things called dens were created, which were clearings where they basically had pannage for pigs. But those pannages were interdependent on manors on the chalk. The iron in the Roman, the iron production in the Weald terminated at the end of the 3rd century for some obscure reason. So possibly they started to source their iron elsewhere, and it's not really known where the early Saxon cultures obtained their iron at the moment. There's no evidence of early Saxon iron smelting in the Weald as yet. So I've come east. I'm basically up on the chalk, and I came here 2 years ago, the last time I had a permission. I'm on an open area that's about 20 or 30 acres. It was originally subdivided into about 6 fields. Round the corner to the left there's a hall house, and some of the smaller fields adjoining that hall house have produced some interesting artifacts, which I'll post up, including a primary transitional skeet. It's the only one I've ever found, so fingers crossed, might find another. And I'm going to get on, namely because the fetch, although it's too thick really to be ideal, there's a short window between when it's cultivated and drilled. So I've got this lucky permission today, and we'll see what we can find. Hopefully it doesn't rain. Right, first signal of the day. So 12:11. Well, that turned out to be a 303 bullet. Nothing to write home about, but that's the first target of the day. All right, this one, 9 or 10. 50% on the depth. Right, hole's about 8 inches deep. Here's the clod. Right in the middle of that thing somewhere. As I say, 9 or 10. See what we've got. Could be iron, but not a lot of iron tone in there, so I think it is. I think it's non-ferrous. Right, my first impression was it was one of those things for hitting golf balls. Don't know if you can see it, but you can see it's got a decorated form, which I wouldn't think would be necessary to support your golf ball on. So I think it's a suspension point for some sort of ornamentation. It's quite a light metal, like a tin alloy or something, but I don't know if you can see that. But it's certainly interesting. Worth digging, scratching around to find those elusive targets. Right, the old phone's just died, probably run out of battery, but got a 19 here. See what that produces. It was quite an iffy signal, but it turns out to be another tomback pewter button, late 18th century. There we go. E10 here. 50% on the depth. So likely to be something modern, but we'll see. That's very pingy, but a low number, which doesn't daunt me. Low numbers can be interesting. Right, it's in the slot here. See if we can find it quickly, as the sun's starting to set. Right, worm going. Right, what's that? Tiny piece of copper. Hard to say what that is. Is it decorated? It's very thin. I don't know if that's decorated or not. Or whether that's just oxidization. Can't see at the moment, but a thin piece of copper anyway. Right, this one's a very high number, relatively speaking. 31, 32, 70% depth. Right, saying it's this side of the hole. So the sun's setting now, so I may not be able to do that much more. Oh, is that it? Yep. Oh, is that a button? That's a coin. Is that a cartwheel? Yeah, that's a nice old cartwheel penny. You can see it's less than ideal swinging through this this sea of but we'll do what we can. For a quick roundup of today's finds in that very interesting field. About 20 items in total. Here we have different pieces of lead, a large piece. We'll see how small the Vanquish is able to find items. This here is decorated. It's I'll post a picture up, but it's got a floral decoration, so don't know what the age of that is. 3 pewter buttons. Very nice cartwheel penny. 1797. I can make that out on the reverse. And this is, although it's completely toasted, I think I was able to see the larger lettering of a Georgian coin. 2303 bullets. Don't know if they're First or Second World War, obviously. Some sort of washer, a modern dome cover for a screw and a rivet. This here, it's some sort of necklace pendant, I think. I think there would have been some sort of stone in the end of it. You see it's circular, and you can see it was suspended on a necklace or something. So that's quite interesting. I think it's made of either pewter or tin, probably 18th century. It looks too neat to be Victorian. And these things here, I find a lot of these, if anyone knows what they are, I think they're exploded shells made of sort of copper alloy or brass mixture. A bit of machinery. So that was it today. I've found some very interesting things in that field, including the skeet. And I'll post up all the bits that were found on previous trips in a mo. Right, so those things in the blue box were what I found today, and these are the coins that I found in the same field previously. They're mainly Georgian and William, mainly 18th century. The thicker one on the right looks like a Roman coin, but it's so undiscernible, I really can't say. So apart from that, also we have two spindle whorls. Now, spindle whorls were produced any time from prehistory through to about the 1700s. They're plain, so hard to date, and there's a rather interesting lead weight behind them there. That looks medieval. Two pot lids, they're post-medieval, obviously. They've been turned at some point. Then we've got pewter buttons. I've got three pewter buttons there, tomback, two tomback and another type, and a cover for something. Three musket balls, completely battered. They've obviously hit something hard. This piece of lead has a cloth impression on the back. Could that be Anglo-Saxon, possibly? And two other small pieces of lead. As I say, all these things were found on my previous visit 2 years ago to the same site. Right, finally, we've got some horse brasses and a scutcheon plate for a lock, a buckle, and a crotal bell. And finally, there's that weight again. There's the necklace pendant that I found today. Again, please like and subscribe, and thank you very much for watching. And this was found previously on one of the previous trips. It's silver. I think it's something that wraps around a cane or whip, decorated, as you can see. Don't know as to the age.